Welcome to 3D Planet. I'm Katrina Hobbs. The African spirit brings to mind vast tribal cultures, amazing wildlife and unsolved mysteries. To enjoy our 3D Planet perspective, just remember to put on your 3D glasses every time you see the 3D symbol showing. South Africa is a country full of contrasts. At the southern tip of the continent, you'll discover a wide range of racial diversity. There are 11 official languages. However, Afrikaans and English are the two most common. South Africa offers the visitor a breathtaking selection of rare species. It's possible to observe all of the continent's wildlife within South Africa's many national parks. Incredible landscapes await us, from the vast plains in the north to the coastal regions of Cape Town. The two main tribes in South Africa are the Sotho and the Nguni. Only 15% of the population are of European descent. In Cape Town and the surrounding areas, you can find romantic coves and long white sandy beaches. St James and Muizenberg still remain relatively untouched. South Africa and sharks. For many visitors, these two notions are inseparable. In Cape Town's huge aquarium, it's possible to experience these ocean predators firsthand. South Africa lies on the southernmost point of the African continent, bordered by the Indian Ocean on the southern and eastern coasts and the Atlantic on the west coast. We begin our adventure some 5 hours south of Johannesburg, away from civilization. To this day, South Africa still remains a land full of mystery, a country of sorcery and superstition. Firmly rooted in the African culture is the belief in psychic powers. Myths, witches' covens and voodoo magic are a part of everyday life for many locals. The Cave of Fertility is a place where myth and reality converge. This enormous canyon, the largest in the southern hemisphere, lies south of Johannesburg, deep within the Maluti mountain ranges. With a jeep and our guide Tebeo, we set off to discover the secluded cave. After a long and exhaustive drive through almost impassable terrain, we arrive at the area where we believe the cave to be. As Tebeo and I descend, we are approached by the Sangoma Sabi.
They told you even their name. Sometimes maybe it's your grandmother, from your mother or your father. You don't know him. When he's coming to tell you what he wants, he tells you his name and who he is and where he stays.
What you must do.
What you must do, what he wants from you.
Okay.
Then you do that, you get luck.
She tells us that the ancestral spirits had anticipated our arrival. Sabi also says that our ancestral spirits offer advice. I'm supposed to get my misgivings under control before I'm welcomed into the cave. After the ritualistic cleansing, Sabi takes us into the Sangoma realm. The descent into the cave is extremely steep and not without its dangers. There are deadly snakes, which Sabi describes as the watchmen of the cave. The Sangomas only come to this area when they are called by their ancestors. After a few days, weeks, or sometimes even years, they can return once more to their normal lives.
My Lord, my God, yes, yes.
This is 43-year-old Sabi's third time here. She's earned the title of the High Priestess for her ability to converse with the dead. Whilst the witch doctors slaughter the animal, the participants pray to it for forgiveness in order to protect themselves and their families. They chant incantations for the soul of the sacrificed animal. The people here believe that once the heart is buried, the soul will go on forever. Here, when you light a candle, you can wish for anything you desire. We are now leaving the mystical world of the north and travelling south towards Cape Town. Cape Town. This city is one of the most beautiful metropolises in the world. On the one hand, you have extraordinary mountain ranges, yet nearby lie the white sandy beaches and the surrounding Indian Ocean.
Oh, what's it?
Cape Town is an exciting melting pot containing over 3 million people of diverse race and culture, and is one of South Africa's major cities. Cape Town's history began in 1652 with the establishment of a provision store for the fishermen. Company's Garden is a 5.5-hectare botanical garden. It's a wonderful area for strolling and offers a shady refuge on hot summer days. One-time diamond dealer and Prime Minister of the Cape's colonies, Cecil Rhodes, planted a vegetable garden here to provide the passing fishermen with fresh local produce. The waterfront was the centre for fish trading and for a small fishing industry. Today, Cape Town's waterfront is still bordered by 2 very old docks. Cape Town's modern harbour is one of its major tourist attractions. But if you want to take a step back in time, come just half an hour at a time with me to the little city of Cork Bay, where the real fishermen work. "50 years ago, the small fishing village of Cork Bay was known as the small brother to Cape Town's waterfront. Amateur fishermen would set sail from here, leaving their worries behind. But they soon found themselves in hot demand. These days, Cork Bay has a thriving fishing industry, supplying many of Cape Town's top restaurants. The best time to buy fresh fish is, strangely enough, midday. This is when the fishing boats return to the harbour after their night shift. The drum kids from Cape Town have turned their backs on a life on the streets. They sing and they drum for Africa. Table Mountain is not only the most prominent landmark in Cape Town, it's also a symbol of achievement for many adventurers.
Well, this is one way to get over a fear of heights. This abseil point is the highest in the world. It's Table Mountain in South Africa. Wish me luck. I just don't want to look down. Woo! Okay.
Position's looking great. You're looking confident.
It's not stopping.
It's okay.
How do you stop it?
Push it behind your backside and sit down on the road. Push behind your backside, sit on it.
Ah, just learn how to stop. That's cool.
Table Mountain is 1,085 metres high, and the abseil run is a frightening 113-metre drop.
No, I'm really scared.
Yeah?
I'm really scared.
She can't go any further, but Matthias is talking to her.
She's at the overhang.
Yeah, she's on the ledge.
Oh, Christ!
The lift is away from the rock.
Yep. This is true fear, I tell you. Okay. No, I'm really scared.
Yeah?
I'm really scared. Yeah, I'm good. Wow! Oh my God, look at the view. Wow. Okay, I don't think you're supposed to come down quite so spinnily. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
Wow. Oh, okay. I swear to goodness, you're gonna have to see this. This is someone who's really scared of heights. Coming off that cliff, oh, I was okay with the climbing rock part, but when you drop into a sheer nothingness, it's just, it took everything for me to get down here, but man, the view was worth it. I tell you, this is incredible. And I did the highest point in the world, how's that? I still can't even move. But I did it! Whew.
From the top of the mountain to the ocean floor, the underwater world along the south coast of Africa is as incredible as it is diverse. Alongside numerous species of fish, you'll also find many sharks. And for those of us who'd rather not encounter these predators in the open sea, it's possible to get close to them in Cape Town's aquarium.
I'm just going to cover every part of my body that I can, because apparently the sharks are really hungry.
Normally, these peaceful grey nurse sharks don't attack humans. However, when provoked, like any animal, they will defend themselves. The Two Oceans Aquarium consists of two separate tanks. The kelp forest tank is the perfect representation of a natural environment found in the Atlantic Ocean. There are over 500 different species of fish living in this underwater world. In the predator's tank, the sea life is from the warmer Indian Ocean. Apart from sharks, you'll find tuna and bull rays. The sharks, however, are only fed once a week.
Woo. Okay, that was an experience. A real experience. It was the closest I've ever been to a shark. I'd never seen sharks up close before. I'd never seen sharks in the wild before. And these guys were really hungry and they were doing lots of twists and turns. It was beautiful. They're incredibly beautiful creatures. And hey, we're in their domain. So they put up with us, which was very good. I'm glad.
Only 1 hour from Cape Town lies Boulders Bay. Here you'll find one of the cutest animals in the world, the penguin. They live and breed here without a care in the world. When food became scarce at their former habitat on nearby Robben Island, these glass-eye penguins relocated to Simonstown.
The Cape Peninsula National Park at Boulders is one of the few places in the world you can really get up close and personal with penguins.
A few years ago, however, the locals faced somewhat of a penguin threat. In search of food, these little tuxedoed waddlers trampled without a care through gardens, surrounding houses, and even entered private kitchens. Along the renowned garden route, and only a 2-hour drive east of Cape Town, we arrive in Stellenbosch. It was here, about 200 years ago, that the history of South African wine began. Constancia is one of the most renowned vineyards in South Africa. The conditions here are ideal for wine cultivation: the climate, soil, and its southerly location. The Constancia wine tour took us to the traditionally rich vineyards of Buitenwachting and Zevenwacht, a paradise for each and every wine lover. Zevenwacht is one of the most picturesque vineyards in this entire region, but Stellenbosch boasts over 40 vineyards, so you can really enjoy a day of wine tasting. Around 300 years ago, Simon van der Stiel recognized that South Africa offered excellent growing conditions and ample opportunity for successful wine cultivation. The end of apartheid in 1990 also marked the end of racial restriction on vineyard ownership. This, along with the lifting of a worldwide ban on South African produce, allowed the indigenous people to take part in this flourishing industry. South African wine is now being exported all over the world, to an ever-growing number of satisfied customers. The garden route counts as one of the most beautiful travel routes of the world. It's 2,500 kilometres long and leads from Cape Town to the east coast of Africa. To this day, Blue Lizard, the old railway, still transports travellers between Knysna and Plettenberg, a tourist attraction for lovers of nostalgia. The Wilderness National Park is a unique recreational area for fans of water sports and for the whole family. A 40-kilometre long creek branches off and travels through a region that is inaccessible by foot. A small excursion through the park can be a wonderful experience. You'll find 800 varieties of birds and butterflies. A green oasis on the south coast of Africa. Our journey takes us 100 kilometres northeast of the Wilderness Park. We're visiting the famous Shamwari Game Reserve, one of the most beautiful in South Africa. Here we can see the big five: rhinos, hippos, elephants and leopards. They're all frequently seen, so there's a good chance we'll be able to experience these animals at close range. In an area of around 21,000 hectares, you can see almost every animal that exists in Africa today. With these animals, it's advised to stay in the car. But with giraffes, hey, it's no problem. We need to approach these animals very respectfully. The rhinos can't smell or see very well, however they can pick up the slightest sound from 100 metres away. It's clear he's aware of our presence. I have been totally Shamwari Game Park, so I'm just going to stay here for a while and experience the safari. I hope you've enjoyed our special view of South Africa. I look forward to seeing you again soon on the next 3D Planet adventure.